Hey everyone, and welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So in today's video, we have some really good news for Social Security beneficiaries, and in one state there's going to be more rebate checks and increased child tax credits. So we're going to be going over everything that's likely to pass. Once again, this is going to be in one state. Also, with the 2024 presidential race beginning to heat up, we're going to be going over what Donald Trump has said about Social Security, as well as what Joe Biden has been saying over his political career. Now, before I dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. So again, the 2024 presidential race is heating up. We're beginning to learn more about the candidates entering the race. Of course, Donald Trump right now is the front runner for the Republican Party. Ron DeSantis is considered kind of like second place at this point in time, although he has not yet officially announced that he will be running. But he is probably the biggest competition to Trump, at least in the Republican Party. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shape out. Now, it is expected at some point in the middle of May, DeSantis is going to finally announce that he is going to be running for president. He's going to be throwing his hat into the ring. Now, we're going to look at some recent polling here from Real Clear Politics, and we can see right now on average when comparing the candidates that so far have announced within the Republican Party, we can see that Trump on average does have a 28.3 lead. So this is pretty massive. I would expect Trump is probably going to win, even though DeSantis is very popular as well. I just don't see him losing. I see once again it's going to be Trump versus Biden, and I know you're probably exhausted by this matchup and you don't want to see this matchup again, but it is what it is. We're likely to see Trump versus Biden once again, and we can look at more polling here from Real Clear Politics, and right now Trump does have a half-point lead. It really could go either way depending on how a few states go, like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona. Those are probably going to be the four states that once again determine who ends up winning. So we'll just have to wait and see, but it's either going to be Trump or Biden over the next 4 years from 2024 through 2028, whether you like it or not, whether you like either candidate or not. It's what we're going to be dealt with. So at this point, we are going to look at the viewpoints by both of these presidents as far as Social Security goes, because this is a very important topic. Again, this is a program that could have benefit cuts of up to 25% if the program is not saved by 2033. And considering that the next election is going to have a president running through 2028. At 2028, we're going to be looking at 5 years until 2033. So this next election is obviously very important. Now, according to CNN, they recently put out sort of a hit piece on Trump. So they said that Trump previously backed policies on Social Security for which he's now attacking DeSantis, calling the program a Ponzi scheme. So in 2023, Trump has been very much for saving Social Security. He's been attacking DeSantis, saying that DeSantis has been wanting to end Social Security from his votes in Congress. Now, of course, DeSantis is backing off from those comments because, again, Social Security is sort of a third rail politics. You don't really touch it. You don't say bad things about it. So according to CNN, former President Donald Trump once backed raising the retirement age to 70 and called for privatizing Social Security, which he called a Ponzi scheme, two positions he has hammered Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for supporting as a former member of Congress and congressional candidate. Trump made the comments in 2000 in a book he authored called The America We Deserve when he was considering a third-party run for president as a member of the Reform Party. Trump, his campaign, and his supporting PAC have repeatedly cited votes from DeSantis in Congress for non-binding budget resolutions that would have raised the retirement age up to 70. In his book, Trump lamented big cuts the program would need without changes and said he would consider privatization. The truth is undeniable. The workers of America have been forced to invest a sixth of our wages into a huge Ponzi scheme, Trump wrote. The solution to the great Social Security crisis couldn't be more obvious. Allow every American to dedicate some portion of their payroll taxes to a personal Social Security account that they could own and invest in stocks and bonds. We can also raise the age for receipt of full Social Security benefits to 70, he wrote. So you can see that over the years, Trump, like many other lawmakers, have really flip-flopped on Social Security. There have been times where he says that he wants to save it, that he does not want to cut benefits. But you can see here back in the early 2000s, clearly he was for privatization of Social Security and raising of the full retirement age in 70. But in 2023, once again, he's saying that we need to save Social Security and that Democrats are actually the ones who want to end it. Watch.
Cut waste, fraud, and abuse everywhere that we can find it, and there's plenty of it. But do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Save Social Security. Don't destroy it. The Democrats are looking to destroy Social Security. We're not going to let them do it. Thank you very much.
Then with Joe Biden, you really don't know what you're going to get either. So since he's ran for president, he's very much been for Social Security. He campaigned on raising benefits by $200 per month for people who receive Social Security. However, according to CNN, Biden once held the exact same positions as Republicans apparently do today. So according to CNN, President Joe Biden and the White House have attacked Republicans in recent months for positions the president himself once held on Social Security and entitlement programs, including sunset bills and raising the retirement age. In his State of the Union address earlier this year and in the months since, Biden has hammered Republicans over entitlements, saying they want to cut Social Security and Medicare. The president zeroed in on Florida Senator Rick Scott's sunset plan, though Biden himself introduced a similar proposal in 1975, which would have sunset all legislation without exemptions for the two entitlement programs. Once Biden started attacking Scott for the lack of exemptions for the entitlement programs, Scott added that his sunset provisions would not apply to Social Security or Medicare. Biden first introduced a proposal in 1975 that would have seized funding all federal programs, including Social Security and Medicare, unless they were reauthorized by Congress. In fact, Biden's bill was the first so-called federal sunset bill, something the president later boasted about in his 1978 Senate re-election campaign. In other clips from the 1980s uncovered by CNN's K-File, Biden proposed raising the retirement age up to possibly 70, saying that life expectancy in the United States supported retiring later. Biden also said he was open to raising the retirement age in the mid and late 2000s. So you can see here in this article, he's been around since 1975, and he's going to run once again for re-election in 2024. This guy has been around forever within the government. So whether you trust his policies or not, you can see that clearly he's also flip-flopped on Social Security. So today he's saying that we need to save the program, that we need to be raising benefits. But clearly back in his early days, and even I guess his mid and late days, this guy's been around for forever. But back then he was clearly for cutting benefits as well. So both candidates between Trump and Biden, I mean, both have kind of flip-flopped back and forth. Obviously, you cannot come out and say you want to cut benefits. It's very, very unpopular. So again, these are the two candidates that we're more than likely going to get. Both in 2023 are saying that we need to save the program, but clearly back even 20 years ago, both were saying that we should be cutting Social Security, that we should be raising the full retirement age up to 70, and that we should be making a partial amount of the program private. But now we're going to be moving into some other news where there's some really good news for recipients of Social Security. So according to NPR News, Minnesota legislature closes in on deal on rebates Social Security tax break. So a tax plan put in the mix by Senate DFLers would provide one-time rebate checks, child tax credits, and a reduction, but not elimination, of the tax on Social Security income. So basically here is the proposal right now in the Senate bill. This is more than likely to pass because in the Minnesota state legislature, Democrats are in control of both the House and the Senate, so anything they put forward is going to pretty much have a 100% chance of passing. So in the Senate bill right now, Minnesotans who made up to $75,000 in 2021 would be eligible for a one-time $279 tax credit, and couples who earned up to $150,000 could see a $558 rebate. Plus, taxpayers with dependents could receive an extra $56 per child for a maximum of 3 children. The checks would cost the state about $1.1 billion, and the House proposed the same income guidelines with slightly different rebate rates. Families making $80,000 or less would also be eligible for a new child tax credit. They could see a credit of $620 per child for up to 3 children under age 18 or dependents with disabilities. The provision would cost about $1.1 billion over 4 years. Also, couples who earn up to $200,000 could also benefit from a tax credit to offset child care costs, with the largest credits going to those with children younger than 6. Credits would step down for those with incomes between $160,000 and $200,000. Social Security recipients who earn $78,000 annually or up to $100,000 as a couple would not have to pay income taxes on their benefits. An estimated 76% of Minnesotans on Social Security would benefit from this proposal. That plan matches up with a House tax proposal. Seniors who receive public pensions rather than Social Security would be able to subtract up to $25,000 if they make less than $120,000 annually. So this is going to be some great news for people who live in the state of Minnesota. Now, as far as the child tax credit goes, they are going to be increasing that in Minnesota, as I just mentioned. However, nationwide, there's also a lot of talk about increasing the child tax credit. Last year, or back in 2021, they did have an expanded child tax credit where you would be earning $300 per month. These were sent out on a monthly basis rather than at the end of the year. There's still talks about possibly renewing that, and it is receiving bipartisan support. The main difference is that Democrats don't want to have any type of work requirements where you would receive these monthly checks regardless of whether or not you worked or not, and Republicans are wanting to set up some sort of work requirement in order to receive these monthly checks. So, for example, a Republican in Florida, Marco Rubio, has a bill this year called Providing for Life Act of 2023. And in this bill, it would increase the child tax credit to a maximum of $3,500 per child or $4,500 per child under the age of 6. That's not all of what's in the bill. Of course, there are work requirements. I'm not going to be going over everything in it. This bill is more than likely not to pass because, again, Democrats don't want to have work requirements for these monthly checks to go out or for an increased child tax credit. So this bill is not going to pass, but it is a bipartisan thought, at least. They just need to come together and work something out, somehow, meet in the middle. But that's all the news that we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.